Alrighty, so woo! Looks like the microphone is a little bit hot there. Let's just tone things down a little bit. So woo! I'm gonna. Microphone is a little bit hot there. Let's just tone things down a little bit. Alright, so I'm not sure what happened to the background music and the audio, but I'm sure that you can hear me. I am just going to quit the Caster Pro Audio. And just mix to the. Okay. Cool. So I hope that you can hear me well, and there isn't a weird, funky echo. I cannot see the latest view here in my. Okay, so there's a crazy aberration that's happening with the audio, and I hope that you cannot hear it from your side. And might need to make this short if that is the case, or maybe delete the whole video and do it again tomorrow if you can actually hear this. But yeah, welcome to the live stream. My name is Varma Henry. That's not important. This is Do Better UX. That is, check out dobetterux.com if you would like to get this type of content where we share a lot about UX design, career insights, and other things within that space. So today I want to talk about something that is has been a big topic in most of the teams that I've worked with, especially the smaller ones in very small startups where they actually have kind of like smaller teams to be able to deal with this type of thing, right? And when I say this type of thing, I mean validating your product or your idea as soon as possible. Now, a lot of people, including myself, have preached the gospel of design sprints. We've preached the gospel of a lot of prototyping and validation ways that minimize the initial investment, right? And emphasis on minimize here, not almost remove the initial investment, right? So minimize the initial investment. Now, this justifies not paying for people to actually write code, but it also justifies for people to pay for design services, right? So for actually building the prototype, the design language, usually the basis of a design system, that type of stuff, right? So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about if you are a small startup and you are just really starting out, right? What is the best way that you can use to validate your idea to know if it's going to work, right? Without you investing a lot in design and code, right? Now, this is something a lot of designers don't tell you about because they are trying to obviously sell the prototyping part of the journey. Now, before I get into this, let me just make some things clear. I still do believe in things like design sprints for teams and companies who can afford the initial investment in doing proper research, in bringing face-to-face clients. That is great for you to be able to do design sprints, but I would also strongly recommend the method that I'm going to talk about today as a way to overlap on on your validation principles. Now, I just need to listen to what is actually happening here. I'm hoping that it's only the pod mic that you're listening to right now, and the audio should be fine. I can hear a lot of echo in my headphones. I'm not sure where that is coming from, and I'm just hoping that you have a good feed. So let me pause a little bit and just take a listen to see if my technology is working fine. All right, cool. So it looks like the stream seems to be fine. If you're joining us, show some love by following our page. I've just dropped that in the chat section. If you're watching this after the fact, please consider going to our website, dobetterux.com, where you'll find the podcast to this live recordings and other podcasts as well, where we have conversations with guests that come on the podcast. And yeah, let me not waste more time and actually get into today's topic. So, I want to talk about what I personally have kind of like battle tested and think is the best and most affordable way to validate your MVP with real customers who will actually sign up to your product and, you know, be there to be your actual product. So I want to talk about you actually investing your time in very minimal work that can validate your product to you know what you actually need it to be. Now let me explain. This is happening live, of course. Now it's going to be a little bit, you know, kind of like jarring and a little bit kind of break up. I want to try and do this in about 30 minutes time, so please bear with me if I'm going a little bit fast. I know that there's background noise behind me, so I want to get rid of that as much as possible, so please bear with me. Okay, cool. So over the past 4 to 5 years, I've been a huge advocate for UX design processes that prioritize user feedback through methods such as, you know, kind of like design sprints, usability testing, and other qualitative UX design uh, methods and kind of like toolkits that are out there for us UX designers and product designers to be able to use at our disposal. Right now, as much as I've found a lot of value in this, I've found two things that are wrong with it. Right, number one is the amount of time that you spend on this. If you are working in a very small team as a startup, for you to not run out of money, number one, and you just, you know, kind of like throw away money working on something that you don't know if it's actually going to work. It's important for you to be able to validate these ideas as fast as possible. Now, design sprints are a perfect and a great way for you to be able to validate your ideas through prototypes and having, you know, kind of like 5 customers coming in, etc., etc. I believe in that method, but I think this one kind of like beats it in the initial investment that you have to make between the initial investment on design and the initial investment on coding. Right, in this case there is very little investment in design and zero in coding. Well, maybe very little as well if you consider creating the HTML page and everything that you need to go through. Right, now I've often been the voice of the user in many of the teams that I've worked with, but yeah, this kind of like typical methods where you kind of like have the user in the room have always presented these two main challenges that I've kind of put down. Right, now moving on, what are the main problems, right, with the kind of like traditional ways, right? Now, the first and biggest one, when it comes to budget and time, is finding the right participants for your beta group, for your beta program, whatever it is that you are kind of like putting out there, right? How do you actually get this 5 to 10 first 1,000 customers to tell you what they think about the product that you're building, right? Um, that's one of the biggest things. So it's either you're kind of like paying something like a usability hub, or you kind of have a team within the bigger organization that is able to source users to come into a room and test out your product. And this is not always an advantage that a lot of smaller startup teams have or are even able to do, even with kind of like small gestures like giving them small vouchers of using online gifts, etc., etc. It's usually out of reach for people to actually understand how to source the right participants. Now, the key word here is right participants, right? How do you know that the people you are actually recruiting for this usability testing are the right people, right demographic, the people who are actually going to buy your product at the end of the day? Number two is finding out if the users are telling the truth. Now, I've literally been over 1,000, well, thousands, right, of usability tests. I've spoken with a lot of customers in the thousands for different projects that I've worked with over the past 10 years and a bit, right? And just to tell you the truth, there is always a huge percentage of people that tell you what they think you want to hear or what they think you want to know, right? So they tell you about, oh, the colors are cool, the images are cool, oh, it's easy to navigate it, even if they don't really get the point of the product. And this has been a huge hurdle, especially after recruiting people that are being compensated. This is something that I've always found in all of the product validation that I have went through, and it has just been that way, right? When it comes to speaking to these people, so there's always a hard part where you need to kind of like figure out what is the truth, what is not the truth. Would this user actually buy this product? Would this user actually use this product that I am putting in front of them? Are they actually telling me that they're going to be, buy it? Whereas in the real world, they would really consider their budget, the current state that they are in, if they really need this product or not. You see, the thing in validation sessions, people will tell you things that are in the ideal world, which is not necessarily the truth in their real world, because their real worlds are not necessarily the ideal world, because we don't live in our ideal worlds, right? We live in a reality that is usually far away from our ideal, and sometimes it is our ideal worlds if we live by design, which is a whole different way of people and thinking, right? But if we are talking about realistically speaking, can you really afford it? Would you consider it? Is it really solving the problem for you to actually pay for it, take out money in your bank account every month to be able to pay for this product, right? So figuring out if people are actually telling you that level of truth is very difficult when it comes to just interviewing people and putting a product in front of them, right? Which takes me to the third point that I want to speak about today, which is the initial investment in UX design. Now, defining a problem and actually prototyping things, coming up with a design system, which is the typical thing that can take literally from 0 to 3 months, maybe to even 6 months, right? To just be able to put the idea on actual paper, right? And this is from my experience and what I have seen in most startups. That is awfully a long time to be able to validate an idea if it's going to work, right? So what you want to do is to take out your idea into the market as fast as possible. Now, how do you do that? You want to try and minimize not only the code, but also the UX design, UI design part of it as much as possible, right? Now, design sprints focus on only the core journey on of what you're building, and that is great. You kind of like get more into the detail of it. But if you just want to actually find out if people are going to buy the idea that you're selling, right, there are better ways that you can do this. And if you actually want to find out if people are going to pay for the idea that you're selling, there are much better ways for you to be able to find out much quickly, without so much investment in code as well as design. Right now, a lot of designers try and sell the idea that development cost is expensive, and that's correct. It is much more expensive than design costs, but with the level of kind of like the prices that I've seen for design components, things like design systems, things like just discovery sessions, things like running design sprints to validate your idea, there has been quite a significant rise in pricing, right? Which I think kind of justifies the idea of saving up on that design cost as well. Now, before you go fully blown into a full design system, before you go fully blown into the journeys and things like that, you just need to kind of like lay out the idea, figure out what are the benefits, what problem are you actually solving for, before you take it out there and validate it. And I'll get into the details of how we do this in a bit. Getting into the fourth point that I want to talk about from the problem side is obviously the speed of validation, right? With the design work, recruiting participants, etc., the speed to validation is always quite a big issue when it comes to actually validating ideas. Now, again, with smaller teams in startups that don't have big budgets and a lot of runway to be able to actually just keep going and validating these things, we want to be able to validate these ideas as fast as possible, right? As fast as we can. And these are some of the main things that I have seen when it comes to kind of like delaying the process to getting the product or the idea into customers' hands for you to actually get the right validation. Now, talking about validation, I think the fifth point, which is the last one that I have on what are the important things when validating a product, is the measurement of success, right? Now, when it comes to the measurement of success, a lot of products don't define this. For myself, if you are launching a product that people would actually pay for, I think it's super important for you to be able to make sure that they actually put down their credit card details or whatever it is, a commitment to show you that they're actually ready to pay for this specific product, which answers a few questions, right? One is the product is actually solving a pain point that they currently have, or a problem that they currently have at the moment, and they're actually willing to pay money to be able to solve this product, right? Whether it is for a waiting list or whatever it is. Now, if you think about a lot of companies, whether it's Tesla, Starlink, now both of those are from Elon Musk, and some other great products out there, even in the SaaS world, they will put you on a waiting list where you kind of have to put down a commitment for you to be able to kind of like get that product released as early as released to you as early as it is available to the public, right? So that is the most important thing. I would say the biggest metric of measurement is making sure that if you have a paid product, people will actually commit to paying for that product before it's even launched, right? If you just put out the idea there and you kind of like articulate it in the best way possible, that people actually understand how you are solving their problem, right? This will be the best way for you to be able to articulate that idea and be able to validate what that looks like and actually have a metric of measurement, because the people who convert, who commit their credit card details would definitely convert in the short term as you start rolling out your premium features within your product. Now, this could be part of your MVP, or this could be part of your kind of like post MVP features that are actually premium features if you're going for a freemium type of model. But if you're just going for, a premium model, then that's also great, right? So what are the solutions to all this? Let me do a quick time check. I'm at 21 minutes past 7 right now, and I want to finish in about 10 minutes. Maybe I'll take 15 minutes. Yeah, let me know if you are enjoying this type of content. I don't want to take too much time deviating from the content itself, but if you are enjoying this, please consider checking out the Do Better UX community page over on LinkedIn. Let's share this type of ideas as product designers, UX designers. The whole point of this community is to make sure that we share these ideas and let the world benefit and make it a better place. If you like this type of content and you'd like to hear more conversations and discussions, or even read this content, this specific topic will be in a blog post on our website, dobetterux.com. Check it out, read the post, leave out your comments, leave comments here on the video, and check out our podcast, Not a UX Designer. That's the name, Not a UX Designer. Check it out wherever you listen to your podcast on, and engage with us there. Going back to the content now, what are the solutions to all these problems that I've been talking about over the past 20 minutes, right? So I think the biggest way to approach this is through landing pages. Now, this is a tool that is widely used in the marketing space, but not so much in the UX UI design space. Now, what do I mean by that? In the marketing space, they've been using landing pages for a very, very long time to be able to actually see how ideas convert before people come up with, the full product, right? And over the past 2 years, I've been working on a project that we've been trying to validate in different ways, and we've built a whole product, right, without actually concretely validating the idea, of which we realized at launch, with just how people navigated on our landing page, that the idea was great, and we would have worked on actually validating other parts of the idea and making sure that they are concrete and making sure that they're working. And by just launching an initial landing page, this would have answered a lot of our questions. Now, what is a landing page? A landing page is basically a faceplate of your idea on the internet saying that, hey guys, this is the problem that we are solving, this is our product, this is how much it costs if you are selling the product at some price. I'm guessing you are, if you're building any business out there, right? This is how much it costs, this is a problem that we're solving, and this is our product, without you actually building the product. Now, what we've seen over the past 2 to 5 years with a lot of startups is that they would put you on a waiting list, right? They already have the core concept of the product in the pipelines of being built, but they kind of like want to solidify the idea and get more investor money to come into the funnel to kind of help build a product. And what is the best way to validate this kind of product is to have it out there, have a big waiting list of people who actually want to use this product, right? Now, what this does is that it targets real customers. It is important to target real customers in any case and any scenario. And as you launch this landing page, you should actually target real customers that have got this need. And there's many ways for you to be able to do this in a very economical way, very cheaply way, right? So if you think about Facebook ads, which is where probably majority of your audience is in one way or another, right? Now, Facebook has got literally billions of users, right? And there should be your market there. If you're new to Facebook ads and kind of like targeting on Facebook, don't worry. You won't have to invest a lot of money. You will, invest probably like $50 to, reach out to 1,000 customers. Now, for you to be able to actually validate your idea, there's metrics that I personally would recommend that you would follow, and these are getting 1,000 users to actually get to your website, and if you can get 1,000 of those users to actually convert, well, not 1,000 of those users, that would be 100% conversion. If you get 0.5% of those users to actually convert, I think that is a good number for you to be able to validate your idea. Now, you might be saying, Varima, 0.5% is an extremely small number. Now, imagine validating your idea with 5 users, in the typical qualitative methods that we have, right? 0.5 users of 1,000 people that land on your landing page is a good conversion rate, because really good conversion rates that we see in the market with people that actually have got, with companies that actually have got big optimization teams, optimizing on the targeting, optimizing on the campaigns, optimizing on the ad creative. We see 3 to 5% as really good conversion rates. Right now, a lot of founders think that it's crazy, up in the 30s, in the 50s, in the 60s percentages, and that is just not reality. That doesn't happen in the real world when it comes to advertising and conversions, right? It's somewhere within that 3 to 5. If you're getting into 6, 7, 8%, that's really good. That's like exceptional, right? Now, if you target that 0.5% out of that, 1,000 customers, that's about 50, if my maths is right. If it's not, let me know in the comment section. That's a good kind of like direction that this idea would go well. Now, if you don't get to those numbers, there's different things that you can do. You can iterate on the messaging really quickly on the landing page and run your campaign again. You can iterate on your targeting, change a couple of variables within your targeting, your campaign, and actually what you are putting out there as the overall idea, maybe images. Try to optimize on loading speeds and things like that, and call to actions. That could help out a lot. Let me do a quick time check quickly. Again, please feel free to let me know of your thoughts in the section below. Now, talking about landing pages, I think I've gotten a little bit into actually the implementation and all of that. jazz, right? Targeting real customers. I think this really gives you a lot of speed and less waste in just consuming time and resources and money when it comes to hiring designers and developers to build a prototype for you. Now, some people want to have a prototype that you can actually click through in software, even if it's not linking to real databases. Some people want to actually put software in customers' hands as fast as possible. That is generally how I like doing things. I don't think that there's a lot of value in, kind of like picture prototypes and things like that. Rather, create a landing page, validate the idea. If you have 100 customers signing up to your landing page within the first 1,000, 2,000 customers that you reach out to that actually get to your landing page and they sign up, right? 150 to 100, that's good enough for you to be able to start working on the prototype of the actual MVP of the software and putting it into those customers' hands. And this way, your measurement of success is right there, right? There are 50 to 100 people out of 1,000 that say that they would actually sign up for your product and would have joined your waiting list or even put in credit card details in your website to say that as soon as this thing is out there and available, we are happy for you to take our money. Right now, this is a much more solid way to validate your product, more than any other qualitative or quantitative way that I've seen over the years, which has got the least amount of investment upfront when it comes to design and both development. Right now, if you use tools like Framer or Webflow or WordPress, this investment will be very low and you'll be able to iterate on your landing pages and your call to actions and your images, etc., etc., and your messaging really fast, right? And the powerful thing about doing this is that you can do this in quick iteration, right? You can do this in weekly iterations, in daily iterations if you want to do that. You can utilize tools like Amplitude that can do A/B testing and feed different landing pages to the same campaign and see which one does better. So there's many ways that you can kind of like slice and dice this idea of validating your idea through a landing page. But the core principle around this is that it's very minimal. The initial investment is just building that landing page and getting the messaging right to tell people that you are solving the problem that they currently have. Now, if you found this interesting, please check me out. Later on this week, I'll be doing much more live streams talking about different topics within the product design space. We will be doing a fintech series on our podcast, Not a UX Designer. Maybe we'll be talking about some of those topics here as well. I think there's a lot of opportunities that product designers and UX designers can have within the fintech space, and I would like to just shed a little bit of more light within that space. So I am speaking to a lot of people within that space that hopefully I'll be having as guests on the podcast, but I will be starting to have those conversations here on the live stream as well. Today I just wanted to talk about really what is the best, most affordable way and the fastest way with the least investment possible to be able to validate your ideas out there. Consider using this concept in your next project and let me know how it thinks over on our LinkedIn community page, Do Better UX. It is linked in the description somewhere. So yeah, check it out, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you further there and having you on the stream over the next one. Until the next one, I'm Varima Henry, and I'm out.